Hello everyone, this is CJNovo992 and today we're back for another brand new video. Today is our video, we are back again to talk about another game, another 3 points and another 3-0 win. By God, could I get used to that? And speaking of getting used to that, it was the exact same starting 11 that started versus St Mirren that started in this game versus Rangers. The only difference between the two games, in my personal opinion, was the way we approached the start of this game, or how it started to unfold, because I'll be brutally honest, despite how buzzing and happy I am, if we go back to the first 10-13 minutes of this game, it was very, very slow and very sloppy on our part. And I think that was perfectly highlighted in the 5th minute of this game, as Morelos is a bit too casual, he's a bit too calm with the ball, he tries to switch it, it's far too easily cut out, ends up being a quick counter-attack from Johnstone in behind the defence, very similar to that one chance Aberdeen got and the one chance St Mirren got, where they got in behind the defence but Balogun was able to run through, stride through like the beautiful man he is and take the ball. Well, very, very similar to this one, apart from Balogun couldn't be the hero this time. He couldn't get the ball away from Callum Hendry, who'd done a couple of quick steps, a couple of shuffles, and actually got his shot away, which was very well saved by John McLaughlin. But that was the warning sign. And despite us not getting the ball down and playing our game for the next 10 minutes or so, I thought we'd done well to suss out that quick counter-attack that St Johnstone was looking for, because they never really got another in the rest of the game. But thankfully, after our sloppy and sluggish start to the game in the 21st minute, we started to come alive, we started to spring passes forward. Jack started to get the ball a little bit quicker to the midfield, who tried to get the attack involved, but ends up getting cleared to Balogun. And what I really like about this, and it's a highlight of just how good of a player he is, his first time pass is a bullet, but it's straight at Ryan Kent, who I think does very well to control this ball, kill it, did, get it back into the midfield, who passes to Alfredo Morelos, and Morelos just shows how clever he is up here, because instead of just turning and passing the ball backwards, he actually has the half step, takes a touch, invites the challenge, and wins us a very, very dangerous corner at the edge of the box. And you know what happens now, ladies and gentlemen, when there is a dangerous free kick at the edge of the box, and it is at the right side for BB. You know, he wanted this free kick, and despite Tavernier having a wee word, despite Hadji having a wee word, Barisic just ignored them all, put the ball down and just remained focused on the ball. And we all knew what was coming, ladies and gentlemen. When he's got that eye of the tiger, he just took almost a half step and just curled it absolutely beautifully in the top bread basket. 1-0, and that's exactly what we need when we are having a sloppy, sluggish start. When we have these fantastic players like Barisic, there's not anyone close to him at the left back spot in Scotland, never mind on the same even keel as him. No one deserves a mention next to that lad, and it backed it up there, because we weren't playing well, but when there's that quality on the park, they can have those key individual moments to kickstart us back into life, and that goal did just that. And you know something, it actually needs to be said, less than 5 minutes after he scored that fantastic free kick, he should have been able to try and make it 2 for 2 from the free kick range, as Hadji does very well to spin his man. The guy literally jumps on his back like he's going to try and attempt a 3D finisher with one of the Dudley boys. He's literally on Hadji. It's a clear free kick, but the referee went, oh no, Rangers are scoring free kicks. Nah, there's no free kicks there. Nah, can't give him a nothing. But don't worry, BB wasn't finished right there with that free kick, because in the 30th minute he shows his qualities once again. He links up very well with Ryan Kent, who eventually beats his man and whips an absolute delicious ball across the line. All it needs is a touch or somebody gambling on it, but Morelos is a bit flat-footed and no one is chasing in that back post. Or they had a tap-in. Fantastic bit of build-up from Barisic to Kent, but again, no one's in that back position, or it'd have been a tap-in for 2-0. It was honestly around about this part that we really started to flex our muscle and really take over the game, and I thought Hadji was starting to come alive at this point, who, let's be brutally honest, some of his first touches was quite clearly kicked out of him by St Johnstone, who nailed him every single time he got the ball. But what I like about this laddie, yes, he's a flair, technical player, but when he gets kicked, he's back up and he doesn't hide. He wants the ball, he wants it. Does it always come off? Not. But I like that, ladies and gentlemen. He's clearly going to develop into a fantastic player if he has that hunger and determination throughout his career. But in the 34th minute, it showed he has got a bit of quality right frickin' now, because he finally takes a touch on the ball, kills it dead, gets his head up, and it's a fantastic weighted ball in behind the St Johnstone defence. I think the defender actually gets a little touch on it that might add just a wee bit on it, but Joe Rebo actually stops and gives up on the ball. If he continues to run, he's clear and through in on that goalkeeper, because Hadji's ball was placed that perfectly that Aribo, if he just continued his run, had a chance to make it 2. But speaking of making it 2, let's get to the old 45th minute then, shall we? Because this little passage of play right here was the best bit of football all night in my personal opinion, and it starts explosively as the defender tries to clear it right into Ryan Kent's St Johnson's, ladies and gentlemen. It's a direct hit all the way to the bank. The boy's voice would have been mega high. But within the same bit of build up from Kent getting his bells rung, it eventually goes out to Barisic from a fantastic bit of play from Aribo and Hadji. You've got to give them a lot of credit. The pass into Barisic is absolutely fantastic as well, but this is again just underlining how good Barisic is, because his delivery is absolutely to perfection. This goal was very, very similar to Ryan Kent's goal versus Celtic last year, because the finish, as good as the ball was, the finish matches it in my personal opinion. And what I really thought was funny is Ryan Kent couldn't even celebrate. He was still feeling the pain. If he could celebrate, it would probably sounded something like this. Oh lads, turn it off, it's all downhill for here, honestly. But anyway, we get to half time, ladies and gentlemen. We're 2-0 up, and despite that sloppy, sluggish start, it's turned into a very, very professional control performance from Rangers, and we've not only got the breakthrough, we went ahead and sort of killed the game off at 2 as well. And my sort of half-time thoughts were a wee bit disappointed about the first 15 minutes, but delighted with the rest of the half, and I was very, very impressed with Glenn Kamara as well. We spoke about him in the last couple of videos, but he's really starting to show what he's all about again. I thought when he first came to Rangers, it was up here, bang, 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 consistent. Then he had that really bad spell where it looked like he had lost his confidence and he lost what made him special, but he's been quietly brilliant over pre-season, and he's starting to bring it into these league games now, and I thought he was the best central midfielder on that part for Rangers. And you know how much I love my man Ryan Jack, but Glenn Kamara for me was direct every time he got the ball. He was positive every time he got the ball, and he was vital to the way our entire team worked. But as the second half started, we all had to sit back and go, okay, this is interesting, because Leon Balogun was took off, I think as a precaution, because he did have a sort of heavy knock on his hip. It may have been slightly affecting him, and Gerrard's just managing him carefully. But he comes out, and you know what you get for Balogun. Him and Goldson are pretty damn solid in my opinion, and on comes Helander, who we know is defensively as good as anyone in our team, but doesn't have the pace as Leon Balogun. So are we going to be able to pin teams in with Helander's sort of lack of pace that Leon can easily cover? Well, as the game showed, yes. Yes, we can. And I'm so delighted for him, but we'll speak about that later on, because we have to go right to the 48th minute, where it was more brilliant attacking build-up. Gerrard clearly lit a fire under the team, because they started the second half a completely different universe than the team that started the first half, and I just loved the way we were strolling with the ball. Hadji was involved with it, giving it to Joe Aribo, and I honestly thought, round about this spell for the next 15-20 minutes, at the end of the first half and the start of this one, Aribo was simply unplayable. His touches, his ability to bring people into play was just underlined, and you saw it in the 48th minute where he just shifts his weight to one side, opens the play up, passes to Morelos, who should score, but his shot is smashed directly at the goalkeeper. But this isn't one of these cases where Morelos misses a chance and we say, damn it, that could have killed the game off, because less than 10-15 seconds later, we did kill the entire game off, because Tavernier steps up for the second game in a row, baby, crosses a delicious corner in, and Joe Aribo, who was outstanding, is there to head it and make it free. And from that resulting goal, the game was dead and buried from a St Johnstone point of view, and Rangers just turned the shithouse of the dial just up to about 5.5, ladies and gentlemen. That's all they did, because him, Joe Aribo, right, Kent and Hadji just started to play a different type of football that we that play fives can only ever dream of. First time football, Hadji starting to flick up over defenders' heads. Ryan Kent eventually tries an overhead scissor kick volley that doesn't go in, but that right there is just taking the piss out of people, and I like it. But as the game was over, changes were a-coming. In the 60th minute, these changes did come, and Joe Aribo was unfortunately off the park, but there was still a moment of magic just to sprinkle on the top of his overall performance, and it was once again with a brilliant eye for the pass, because he shifts it onto that left foot again. He sees Morelos make the run in a tight gap. He finds it perfectly right with the right pace, with the power. Morelos tries to take a touch to get his shot away, but unfortunately his touch just isn't good enough to trap the ball, or Aribo could have been sitting with God knows how many assists overall in that game. But as I just said a couple seconds ago, changes were a coming, and Joe Aribo did come off the park, and yes, he looked gutted, and rightly so. He was having an absolute stormer, but he wasn't the only one that came off. Alfredo Morelos, who I thought, despite that little chance I mentioned a couple seconds ago that he missed and that slack touch, I thought he was overall brilliant as well. Holding the ball, bringing others into play, and his cleverness won that free kick. But the last two people that actually came off in the game was Ryan Kent, who I thought had another very, very good game of football and got this goal. His overall performance deserved. And Ryan frickin' Jack, who I thought was probably his best bit of football so far this season. And when the changes were made, everyone was absolutely chomping at the bit, because Roof, Cedric, Arfield and Davis, there's experience here and there's excitement. We were expected to go ahead and make this 4, 5 and 6, but when it came on, if we're just being honest, we can see they're not quite embedded in with how we like to play, or we don't know the players' strengths to the exact T yet, because there was a wee bit of teething problems when everyone was sort of shuffling in and trying to get up to speed with the game. And that's always going to be the problem when you're allowed 5 substitutes and when you're bringing so many people on at the same time. There is going to be these wee sticky moments here, ladies and gentlemen. But aye, we unfortunately can't talk about too many highlights on the attacking perspective, but that substitution we made earlier, Hollander, he had his moment in the 68th minute of this game, because honest to God, I thought St Johnstone were away. That counter-attack in behind Connor Goldson, who I think done a mistake with his pass. It is a counter-attack. It looks like he's away. He's honestly just gone like this, but just in comes Hollander, whose arms aren't even moving as fast as that guy's legs, but he's positionally, he's aware, he gets to the right place at the right time and times his tackle to absolute perfection, showing, yes, he's not the quickest, but by God, has he got up there. And actually, from the resulting corner, Cedric showed he had a wee bit about his game as well, because not only is he there to get the header away, he ends up chasing down his own header and just throwing his body, almost like Supermaning in front of the St Johnstone player who tried to get a shot off, just ballooned his way in front of it, showing that he wants to be here as well, and he's clearly got a determination to make an impact on everyone that's watching him. And that energy and determination takes us into the 71st minute, because they showed a wee bit of it on the other, because we get the ball to him. His first touch isn't the best, but his second touch is to get the ball away out to the right hand side to get it to Tavernier, and he's quite clearly just smashed. Like, I don't understand how this is their penalty. The guy literally runs up and just kicks Cedric, who, to be fair to him, he tries to remain on his feet and he bounces back up. He's no one for flopping around and rolling around pretending he's hurt. He's just a big, honest lad, and maybe that's a detriment to him and us in this game, because maybe if he did roll around the place and kid on his hurt, he'd have won an actual penalty kick for us. But aye, referee had an absolute howler there and robbed maybe Roof or Cedric a chance to getting their first goal for the club. Now, something else I saw in the game, by the way, is in the 78th minute when Big Gordon came through on Roof, and just, it's even worse than the Aberdeen one. Yes, Considine had his studs up, and that's right, but a lunge is a lunge, and the boy's absolutely coming here like he's delivering a Liu Kang finisher, ladies and gentlemen. Right on Roof, fair play to Roof, by the way, he managed to get out of the way and dodge it. Maybe after that challenge he's going to pull his socks up and get proper shinnies after he's seen what he's going to be getting week in and week out by. From that ridiculous challenge, it's only a yellow card, but to me, I've only seen it a couple of times during the actual broadcast, and I've came up here to film today's video, but that to me is a stonewall red card. If I'm wrong, tell me down in the comment section below and I'll go back and check it. Now, in the 81st minute, where we talked about sort of losing the midfield battle once Jacko came off and we lost that Jack and Kamara partnership, I think that was highlighted in the 81st minute as we can't get the ball down, we can't keep the ball, we can't keep up with St Johnstone. They whip it out wide, and yes, it's a good cross in, but if you actually go back and look at it, Connor Goldson actually trips over and falls. That's the only reason St Johnstone have that free header, but his header is straight at Big John McLaughlin, who is there just to kind of robot his way and head it up and catch it. But to the Cedric and Roof moment that we did have in the game, and I imagine we're going to see plenty more as both players get up to speed with this team. It was a nice bit of move. I don't know why Rangers TV originally was just aimed in on the St Johnstone manager, but we eventually saw it back. It was a brilliant bit of build-up play with him and Cedric. It's a nice little 1-2. Roof then gets a shot on goal, but his effort wasn't for the best in Mason Vighton angle, but he gets on target, it's hit hard. The St Johnstone goalkeeper is there to make the save. Now, before we wrap up and get to the old man of the match, then there was one last moment of brilliance from Rangers, and I'm so glad I get to say this. It was from Hadji, who again didn't have the best game, but arguably created the most chances out the entire midfield, which probably says its own story. But Hadji he's just tried his best, then he's running about, he's getting stuck in, the ball eventually gets looped up in the air, he chases it down, his first touch this time is absolutely perfect. He then fake shots this Johnstone defender, who sells it brilliantly, by the way, because he doesn't even move. Like, honestly, he just stays there, he knows he's beat, Hadji runs away from him, and this Johnstone guy just stares down at the ground and is just contemplating life at that point. And from the resultant bit of brilliance from Hadji, his shot is just a whisker away from making it 4. But with that being said, that is the game recap right frickin' there. It is another 3 points, it is another clean sheet, and the argument could be made, yes, we blew St Johnstone out the water once we heated up, but I'd say we weren't even out of really second or third gear in the game. When everyone gets up to speed and when we do click on all cylinders, we could be a very, very scary team this year, and that prospect is damn exciting to me. But in saying that, before we go ahead and jump on to Twitter very, very briefly regarding my man of the match, despite how great Glenn Kamara was and how honestly brilliant Joe Aribo was, there was one player, in my personal opinion, that just oozed class the whole frickin' game, and he was just at another level, in my personal opinion, and it was the left back king himself, Mr. Barisic. And with all that being said, that's us all done and dusted with the all game recap. Now it's time to hand the reins over to you guys. I want to know what your thoughts and opinions are on the entire game and who was your man of the match. While you guys hopefully go ahead and do that, I'll jump over to Twitter and hear from the people. That's unreal. There's already 2,081 votes. That's frightening. Thank you so much for getting involved. Now, 1% votes for other, 6% votes for Joe Aribo, 11% votes for Glenn Kamara, but the far and away winner with 82% of the vote, can you guess? Yes, it's B. Frickin' B. So let's see what they've had to say then, shall we? Ewan McKenzie's the first one in, and here he's in Glenn Kamara for me, CJ. Absolutely strolled it in the day. Another class team performance as well from everyone. Barney Stinson writes in BB with another performance showing just why he's the best in the country. Having that set piece ability in his locker, along with his injury and crossing ability, his value is rising game by game. What a goal from the lad. He is going nowhere either. By the way, nah. Kyle writes in BB, good on the defence and on the attack. Tav deserves a shout too, by the way, for his assist. Not a bad first half, but second half was just a possession training session, in my opinion. Alan Murdoch writes in Bonner was excellent. Stepped up when we needed him and scored an excellent goal. Perfectly put there for Alan. Exactly, he did step up, he did take that pressure, and he won us pretty much the game. Stu writes in Bonner was my man of the match, CJ. Very comfortable performance. Again, 3 goals and yet another clean sheet. G-Dog writes in Kamara and Aribo were class, but BB was simply outstanding. Ross Wilson writes in can't take away from Barisic, he was first class. Kamara's performance struck me in the first time in a long while, CJ. Seems to be back in form. Need to be piling the pressure on now and take it in to next week. The last one we'll read out in tonight's video. We'll go all the way down to the bottom and we'll stop right here, and it comes from JG, and here it's in Bonnabear, man of the match without a doubt. Some goal, some cut back. Well, there it is, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. You've heard from the people, you've heard from myself. If you haven't done so already, you know what to do by now. And as always, I've been CJ Nova 92. Thank you so much for watching, and bye.